Fox News, breaking news.
You are not going to believe this. I need to show you the one detail that blew this whole thing open for me. CNN quoted a neighbor who watched the stretcher leave Mitch McConnell's home and said the feet were exposed, there was no oxygen mask, and the ambulances drove away with no sirens at all, no sirens. Then Marlin Stutzman gets asked point blank, do you know if Mitch McConnell is alive? The congressman says, I don't. I had to sit back for a second after that because McConnell's staff keeps pushing that he continues to improve while refusing a video, refusing proof, refusing the one thing that ends all of this. So stay with me. Now, I'm bringing this to you because this stopped me cold. Not the rumors, it's the pattern. Mitch McConnell went into the hospital after that June 14th cardiac arrest, and now we're on day 27 with Capitol Police still outside George Washington University Hospital. His machine wants Kentucky and the whole country to swallow a staff statement that he continues to improve. Fine, then put him on camera, right? Daily Caller asked for a video interview, nothing. CNN got neighbor details about the stretcher. Marlin Stutzman got hit with the simplest question in the world. Do you know if Mitch McConnell's alive? He said, I don't. That's not gossip. That's a Senate cartel running a ghost seat while staffers and media flacks babysit the lie. And then the part that made my blood boil. Elaine Chao, Mitch McConnell's wife, stayed in Beijing and met CCP Vice President Han Zheng while her husband lay hospitalized after cardiac arrest. That is the old surrender class in one frame. China first, voters last, and the truth nowhere. And when Washington hides the truth for 27 days, you start noticing every racket built on confusion, and Medicare is one of those biggest. The Medicare confusion industrial complex floods seniors with junk so they stay stuck in bad plans. Chapter cuts through it, simple by design, one call, one advisor. They look at your doctors, they look at your prescriptions, your whole situation, and tell you the truth. No propaganda, just facts. They work for you, not big insurance. If you're already on the right plan, they'll say it. If not, they can help you switch. It's free. It takes under 20 minutes. Call Chapter at the number on the screen, 910-728-4109. Last year, people who found new plans with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. In a city built on handlers and scripted spin, clarity still matters, and so does having someone who actually works for you. Now, before we pull up the tweets, I want you to catch what hit me on this rewatch. Not just the stretcher, not just the blanket, the no sirens detail. Think about that. Then we're going to stack it next to Scott Jennings getting cornered on CNN after claiming he talked to McConnell. Can we get him on the phone now? Then suddenly the whole thing turns into a trust me bro theater. That's when I knew this was bigger than a health update. This is a cover-up with props. Now, let's walk through what everyone said because the lies don't even line up. This is the video that's been making the rounds all day. Paramedics were not doing CPR when McConnell was transferred to the ambulance. Yeah, think about that for a second. Presumably, this means they had either already received ROSC or he coded later while en route to the hospital. It's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like they're bagging him. So, more likely the latter. And where is the sense of urgency to get him to the hospital? Watch the paramedics now. Just watch them. So Mitch McConnell being carried in the stretcher video only raises more questions about what really happened. Now CNN's Scott Jennings claims McConnell personally called him, and even CNN's own panel started pressing for proof. Yes, Scott Jennings is toast after this. He was put on the spot on CNN after he spoke with McConnell, allegedly. Everyone is calling BS on Scott Jennings today.
Do you think he'd be willing to call into the show? Could we get him on the phone now?
You know, I wasn't really expecting him to call this morning, to be honest. So when the phone rang, and I was able to talk to him, I was frankly pretty grateful. I mean, as I said, I've known him since I was a teenager. If it hadn't been for Mitch McConnell and the McConnell Center at the University of Louisville, I would never have been able to go to college. He's been my mentor, and he changed the trajectory of my life. So, when things happen to him and happen to people in your life that you really care about, you just sort of naturally feel extremely worried. So when I heard his voice today, and he was clearly keeping up with stuff, that made me happy to hear from him, because like everybody else, I've been, somewhat in the dark about it. But to hear him talking and to know that he's also talking to the Senate leadership, it made me pretty happy.
The MAGA media ecosphere, shall we say, has been driving a lot of the questions about where Mitch McConnell has been and what has happened to him. You, of course, are in tune with that in the role you have on your radio show. Do you think they should put out a picture of Mitch McConnell, that he should release more to the public to quiet this noise?
Yeah, I think Al had a good point about McConnell's general disposition towards privacy. I sometimes wonder, like, if I were laying in a hospital bed, would I want a bunch of people around photographing me? Probably not, particularly if I were an 84-year-old person who's normally private about his health. Probably not. But I take the criticism. I think it's a fair question about transparency. I think it's a fair question about whether they've done enough. But ultimately, these office holders, they're in charge of their own operations. And it may be somebody around him says, let's put out a picture, and he doesn't want to do it. I think that's a fair observation from Al. But all I can tell you today is all the rumors about him being dead or brain dead, or his body's being hidden somewhere. I've seen all kinds of crazy things on the internet. That's obviously not true, because he picked up the phone and called me, and that was a good thing.
All right. Well, let him know. Our phone lines are open here at the arena. Should he
Long-time listener,
should he wish
caller.
to call in, as someone who covered many of his Senate campaigns, not as many, of course, as Al Cross, but a couple. Al, thank you very much.
So Jennings says he heard McConnell's voice, but viewers still haven't seen him. Next, President Trump gets asked point blank if he's spoken to McConnell. His answer is short and telling. This was on Air Force One.
So, at the beginning... Have you spoken to Senator Mitch McConnell since the conversation? No, I haven't.
How's he doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea how he's doing. At the beginning of...
I have no idea how he's doing. You think they would keep the president in the loop here. Trump says he's got no idea, which blows another hole in the whole Senate spin machine. Up next, critics zero in on the same problem. No FaceTime, no visits, no pictures, just a phone call story the public is supposed to swallow. Check this out.
Do you think he'd be willing to call into the show? Could we get him on the phone now?
Gotcha, bitch!
Yeah, nervous laughter indeed. So that's the issue in plain English. Trust us, don't verify. So Daily Caller did the obvious thing and asked for the video interview, and McConnell's office had no real answer. He's been hospitalized for almost a month. His staff says he continues to improve. So why won't he honor the request for a video interview? Yeah, of course he won't. If staff says he's improving, the camera should simply settle it. Instead, the questions keep piling up. Next, you'll see a reporter outside the hospital tracking the police detail and digging into the EMS timeline that is still in question.
Desiree Townsend here again outside of George Washington University Hospital in Washington, D.C. It is day 27 of the medical miracle. That is Senator Mitch McConnell. So he, according to a source, is allegedly in rehabilitation here at the hospital right now. Again, the odds of a 30-day survival out of an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest event are less than 5% in an individual who is in their 80s. So, again, the sources that have come out and the statements that have been made about these phone conversations do not really align with the statistics of this type of cardiac arrest event. Now, this video did come out. What looks like Senator Mitch McConnell is being put into a paramedic vehicle. Now, what I will say in talking to EMS, it sounds like based on the audio, he originally was found unconscious. So the paramedics arrived to the home. It's possible that they immediately started administering CPR for a apparent cardiac arrest based on the audio inside the home, stabilized him, and possibly then transported him into the vehicle. I had someone who zoomed in on the video, and it looks like he may potentially be wearing this white belt. It is known as a life band. It's an automated CPR device. Again, the videos, it's hard to determine if he is actually wearing something like this. So either way, I think it's important that the American public know the history of his health so that we can better assess whether this individual.
Well, we've seen his health, we've seen the freezes, and now we've played the audio of the 911 call, and the timeline becomes the story because the official version still doesn't add up for a lot of people, and online the backlash is getting brutal with a simple question about what happens if CNN's story falls apart. If McConnell is really dead, CNN has to fire Scott Jennings. So that lands because trust in the media is already shot. Then the rumors jump another level of post flatly claiming that McConnell is dead. Mark Slapinski breaking: Mitch McConnell is dead, according to reports. And once that claim hit the feed, people started trying to test the evidence themselves next. Is a post that had an AI check result. It's apparently an image of Mitch McConnell in a hospital bed. This is the image that has been circulating widely online, and it was tested against AI detectors, and it came back that this was not an AI-generated image. Now, there's clearly an excessive amount of life support tubing and wires all around him. I've never seen that level, so it's really hard to tell. I mean, the AI detection systems out there could be wrong, but this could be a true image. It's still really up in the air. So we're in the middle of an information war. Phone call claims on one side, image verification on the other. Next, this story takes a darker turn with fresh scrutiny on Elaine Chao staying in Beijing while he was reportedly hospitalized in cardiac arrest. Let's take a look at this from One America News and Rudy Giuliani.
You've known about this family and their China ties for years. It's so good to have you back. What do you make of Elaine Chao's China trip this last month?
Not unusual. She and her family have been favored for a very, very long time by the Red Chinese Communist government. If I'm not mistaken, her father is from Taiwan, which would mean it'd be highly unusual that he'd be allowed to do business in China. Even more unusual that he'd become one of the richest men in China and running a critical industry, which is shipping. Now, this has been a question that was raised quite dramatically by Peter Schweiker around 2015. At the same time that he raised the questions about Joe Biden, that really alerted me to look into Joe Biden, and including the people from Ukraine who came. First, the people from Ukraine came and warned me about Joe Biden, that he was paying bribes to the president of Ukraine. And then they referred me to the Schweiker book. I read the Schweiker book, and then I went to the next two chapters. The next two chapters were about the possible corruption of McConnell and Chao.
Corruption of McConnell and Chao. The swamp keeps stonewalling on McConnell's condition. The China ties back under the microscope. CNN adds another witness account from the morning, and the details about the stretcher and ambulance only deepen the mystery.
So, Kate, I spoke to one of McConnell's neighbors who said at around 8:30 in the morning on June 14th, they stepped outside their home to find a commotion on their street. They saw two ambulances, a fire truck, and Capitol Police, as you mentioned, had blocked the entire street. Now, this neighbor walked over to one of the Capitol Police officers and asked what was going on, and the officer apparently said that there was a medical emergency but wouldn't confirm who it was for. So this neighbor then stood in the street with others as they tried to wait and see what was going to happen. And at around 9 a.m. on that same day, a person was seen carried on a stretcher from McConnell's home into an ambulance. Now, the person I talked to didn't see the face of the person on the stretcher, but somebody nearby said that that was McConnell's face. Now, the person I spoke to said that the person on the stretcher was wrapped in a blanket and that their feet was exposed, and apparently McConnell did not have an oxygen mask attached to him. And so once McConnell was loaded into the ambulance, apparently those ambulances drove away with no sirens on them. So as you mentioned, there's very little information that we know about McConnell up until this point. We don't know why he was hospitalized or what has kept him in the hospital. So now we know at least that he was carried on a stretcher to an ambulance, and that's how he arrived at the hospital. Now, previously, it has come out that an EMS audio recording showing that first responders came to the home of McConnell on June 14th, where they responded to an individual who was under cardiac arrest, unconscious, and needed CPR. So these are new details, but while McConnell's office continues to maintain that the senator is recovering well in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. But as you can see from the video obtained by CNN, they didn't even have sirens when they left. No sense of urgency. And that matters because it undercuts the polished talking points coming from McConnell's team. Next, even Republican congressman gets asked a question. Every voter is asking, do you know if Mitch McConnell is even alive?
And so the fact that we haven't heard anything really from Senator McConnell is very discouraging and concerning. And I think that for the representation of the Republican Party and to get some of the bills done that we want to get done in the Senate, it's critical that we have a senator from Kentucky voting in the Senate chamber.
Do you know that he's alive?
I don't. Just the things that I've heard and seen from some friends is that he's obviously not doing well, but don't know if he's alive or has passed away.
They don't know if he's alive or if he's passed away. So when a GOP lawmaker says he doesn't know, the whole cover-up starts to look absurd, and that's exactly where the next clip goes, with satire hammering the Senate establishment for acting like death wouldn't stop business as usual. Enter the Babylon Bee for the win.
Breaking news tonight, Senator Mitch McConnell is dead. Or is he? As rumors continue to circulate regarding his current condition, McConnell's staff reassured the public that even if he were dead, that would not be enough to prevent him from finishing out his term. The longtime Kentucky senator was hospitalized after being found unresponsive in his D.C. home. Despite concerns over his well-being, his staff insists he remains more than fit to serve the remainder of his term, even if eventually confirmed dead. A tiny little dweeb who plays Dungeons & Dragons, also known as a McConnell staffer, addressed the situation.
No one would even know the difference. Whether he's alive or not, the next several months would be just the same. We can assure the American people that even if Senator McConnell should be confirmed dead in the next coming weeks, they can expect the same level of focus and attention that he's always had and has exhibited for the last several years.
Republicans express similar confidence.
He's always steady and consistent. Alive, dead, it's all the same to us. Honestly, I thought he'd been dead since 2022. Have you seen him?
When asked for comment, McConnell's office responded with silence, consistent with his recent public appearances. Coming up next, GOP senators reassured the public once again that they spoke with Mitch McConnell just this morning, and they released this photo to prove it.
Oh, you gotta love the Babylon Bee. And here's the moment that got me. Okay, I laughed out loud, not because this is funny, but because the arrogance is so grotesque. McConnell's staff says that he's improving, but they can't produce a live video. Scott Jennings says he spoke to him. But when CNN asks for a call-in, the whole act wobbles. Marlin Stutzman says, I don't, when asked if McConnell is alive. And while all this burns, Elaine Chao stays in Beijing to meet Han Zheng. So let me put it this way. The same Senate machine that tried to block Trump's America First agenda now expects us to believe a Senate seat can run on whispers, handlers, and a phone call that nobody can verify. No, Mitch McConnell is not the only thing failing here. The McConnell machine is collapsing in public. So here's where we draw the line. If McConnell can speak, show us Mitch McConnell on video today. If he can serve, prove he can serve. If you cannot, stop lying to Kentucky and stop treating that Senate seat like family property guarded by staff statements and media spin. I want us to press on the exact points that they keep dodging. Day 27 at the hospital. Capitol Police still outside. Daily Caller denied a video interview. Marlin Stutzman saying he doesn't know if McConnell's alive. And Elaine Chao taking meetings in Beijing while a top CCP official while Washington stages this farce. If you are where I am on this video, send this to someone who still thinks the Senate cartel tells the truth. And if you think I've got it wrong, good. Tell me which facts clears them. And show me the video they won't show us. Until then, I'm treating the silence like a confession. And here's my confession to you. Yes, the YouTube notifications are failing all of us. And that's why I set up this number, 844-840-4963, so you get the news when you want it by simply texting the words raw feed to it. I'll send you a text message when the YouTube notifications fails. And make sure you check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. And we'll see you at the next report.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.